Hey guys, it's your boy Football Talk Gaming. Today I will be reacting to who's the fastest player at every position in NFL history. Now, the reason why I'm reacting to this video is because of the NFL Combine. They have put out obviously videos. I was thinking about maybe reacting to some of them, but they are very long. I mean, like 7+ hours. So I found this one. It looked interesting. I love to see the fastest people, especially at like these combines and stuff. It's very like cool to see, because your boy back in the day was he had a little bit of speed on him. All right. I don't know about now. Your boy kind of a little older, but cannot wait to hop into this. Hopefully you guys are doing great today, and let's jump into it. Oh, I gotta see who the fastest kicker is.
It certainly means something to scouts, because every single position,
big man's, hey, they flying in the NFL.
Run the 40-yard dash at the combine. Or maybe they just like torturing these poor big dudes. Speed is one of those traits where when you watch a dude run in a straight line, it's hard to tell just how fast he is. For a little perspective, here's Rich Eisen with an 8-yard head start over Denzel Ward.
I mean, Villa is a freak of fucking nature.
At the 2018 Combine. And here's Eisen head-to-head with Vita Villa, a 340-pound man who dropped a 5'1". Since the NFL Combine began, 16 players have clocked a blistering 4'2". It just feels like a matter of time until we see the first official 4'1" at the NFL Combine. I've made a couple videos in the past related to the fastest players in NFL history, but this one is a bit different. In this video, we will look at the fastest players by position from the NFL Combine, which means I'm not going to count the times from pro days.
Far fucking flat.
Let's start with quarterbacks.
Obviously.
At the top, Michael Vick is the only quarterback to have ever run a 4.3 at the Combine.
Yeah, but
although this does make you wonder what Lamar Jackson would have posted if he didn't skip the 40. While Vick's college clips were dazzling, there is no footage I could find of the 2001 NFL Combine. Prior to 2004, the Combine was pretty low-key and wasn't televised. But anyways, Vick's speed was one major factor as to why he was such a phenom and went #1 overall. In the history of the NFL to that point, there really hadn't been a prospect with the same level of athleticism in his game. NFL offenses hadn't evolved.
Hell, they still not involved, to be honest with you.
That elusive quarterbacks thrive in today. So, Vick was subject to making things happen out of formations like this and this.
They've run out of it. They wanted to pass out of it, though, today. There goes Vick. Inside the 15, inside the 10, touchdown!
By his second year in the NFL,
it was incredible to watch as a young. I was very young.
The third most ever at the time, and made some huge plays.
But I do remember, like, certain clips and stuff.
In a victory at Green Bay. During his time in Atlanta, Vick became a transcendent player. He wasn't the most efficient passer in the world, nor did that team ever make a deep playoff run. But with how he played,
imagine this as a
became
ride.
An icon. In 2004, he finished as the runner-up for MVP. In 2006, he became the first quarterback to rush for over 1,000 yards in a season. But this is where everything changed. Vick spent 2 years out of the league serving a prison sentence for running a dogfighting operation. Some thought his career was most likely
guys remember all them jokes and stuff, man?
Just how much time he spent out of the league. But he didn't.
Imagine that happened today's time.
Again, in 2010, we got to see how fast this dude really was. Overall, Vick played 13 years in the NFL, making 4 Pro Bowls in the process. And while his career had its ups and downs, there was no doubt that his athleticism transferred extremely well. Speed played a huge role in his NFL success and helped make him one of the league's icons. He retired as the all-time leading rusher amongst quarterbacks, which was just surpassed by Lamar Jackson. Also, Vick holds the NFL record for career yards per carry.
Oh, you want to talk about speed?
Prior to the 2025 NFL Combine, only 2 running backs have ever dropped a 4.2.
Chris
Dre Archer
fucking
and
Johnson.
Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson not only holds the fastest 40 at the NFL Combine for running backs, but he also tied the Combine record at the time, which held for nearly a decade. Johnson was initially thought of as a day 2 pick, falling somewhere in the 2nd or 3rd round.
You talking about a freak athlete.
That incredible 40 boosted his stock to the 1st round and resulted in him getting selected 24th overall by the Titans. It didn't take very long to see how valuable his speed was.
In his helmet.
Look at this. It look like everybody else is running in mud.
As a rookie, Chris Johnson was electric, breaking off long runs regularly. He rushed for over 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns, and achieved Pro Bowl honors. Then, he took things up a notch, as he rushed for over 2,000 yards in year 2. Not only did he become one of the very few players to reach this feat, but he also had over 500 receiving yards, which, combined with the rushing yards, still has Johnson, aka CJ2K, as the all-time single-season record holder for total yards from scrimmage. It's one of the greatest seasons we've ever witnessed. Overall, Johnson strung together 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons to begin his career, and retired a 3-time Pro Bowler and 1-time Offensive Player of the Year. Throughout his career, long breakaway touchdown runs remained a constant in his game. Although he possessed many traits that made him elite in his prime, there's no doubt how valuable that 4.2 speed turned out to be in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, worthy.
Prior to 2025, there's been no position that's dropped more 4.2s
Which
at
is
the combine
which is
than
understandable in a way.
receivers. 7 prospects have pulled it off. And back in 2017, John Ross III set the
John
NFL
Ross
Combine's
had the
record while also pulling a hammy.
Yeah.
Then,
yeah.
7 years later,
I
Xavier Worthy
remember
broke
watching
that
this on
record.
Instagram.
Scouts knew
I wanna
Worthy
say.
was going to drop a blazing 40 time. However, with his tiny stature, standing at 165 pounds, Worthy
Me and him
wasn't
might be the
projected to
same
be a
weight.
first-round pick, probably falling closer to somewhere in the 2nd round. But after dropping that 4.21, the Chiefs
You would
traded
say
up
only
with the
one that
Bills
showed
to
up for the
acquire
Super Bowl.
Worthy. At the time, fans of other teams were outraged because we all saw what Mahomes did
Yep,
with Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill
And the
2.0.
Bills of all teams are the ones that traded this pick. I wonder how that worked out.
He's
for
a
them.
raw talent, but once he gets like what he needs to,
As a rookie, Worthy splashed on the scene early with a 2-touchdown debut, where his speed was immediately on display. For the first half of the regular season, the Chiefs, for the most part, struggled.
if it wasn't for the
offensively,
defense, they
and
would not
Worthy
have
wasn't
the
getting
number
a
one
huge
seed.
workload, never catching more than 4 passes in a game for their first 11 games. After that, Worthy saw his role increase down the stretch, becoming more and more a vital piece in the offense, all culminating in that 6-catch, 85-yard, and 1-touchdown performance in the AFC Championship versus the Bills. And then, his best performance of the season
In a
happened
blowout,
Super
by the
Bowl,
way.
when Worthy caught 8 catches
Sorry.
for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was about the only Chiefs player who did anything positive that game. In fact, he set the all-time rookie record for receiving yards in the Super Bowl.
I did not
Which is
know
cool
that.
enough.
What?
Outside of a handful of explosive plays, Worthy didn't catch many deep bombs as a rookie, only producing 4 catches over 30 yards. Perhaps this was due to defense
Yeah,
paying
yeah.
respect to
They
his
they don't
speed
want to
this
get that
season.
Tyreek
Overall,
Hill
this was
effect.
early on in Worthy's career, but considering where he was drafted and what we've seen so far, he
Yeah,
has a
yeah.
real
This
chance to
this
be a
coming up
star,
season,
and his speed will certainly play a factor. Tight
it's,
ends.
it's gonna be a long night for a lot of DBs.
In NFL Combine history, just 6 tight ends ever have ran sub 4.5, and only one has broken 4.4. That would be the athletic freak,
Okay.
Vernon Davis. This dude's combine performance was the stuff of legend.
So once upon a time, you were the ultimate workout warrior at the combine.
You were an athletic specimen.
Not only does he hold
Boy.
the fastest 40 ever by a tight end,
I remember playing against
he
him
also
in
set
Madden.
records in the vertical jump, broad jump, and bench press. Even though these other marks have been surpassed, this shows just how much of a beast this dude was coming out of college. Honestly, dropping a 4.3 at 254 pounds is more impressive than any of the
Imagine-
4.2s so far.
Sorry. Imagine you dating this dude's daughter, and the first thing you see when he opened up, you open up the door and you just see him standing in the hallway. What you doing? What you doing? Oh, I'm gonna get your daughter home at what time is it? 7, 8:30. No, 8:30. I got you. And you know what? I'm gonna bring you some food back. What you like? You know what? You ain't gotta tell me. I'm gonna ask her. She already know you. Do you need anything from you and your wife need anything from the stores or something like that? Cause it's still gonna be open by the time I get back. I'm just That would be me.
And this all was added to the fact that he was one of the most productive tight ends in the country, earning first-team All-American honors his final year at Maryland. Very rarely do tight ends go in the top 10, but for obvious reasons,
Just
Vernon
different.
Davis was selected 6th overall by the 49ers. At first, things got off to a bit of a slow start due to injuries and poor performance. The most famous moment during his
This
first
guy.
few seasons was actually when he was mentioned in a rant by his head coach Mike Singletary in his 3rd year.
Vernon just, it was something that I told everybody at the very beginning of the week. I will not tolerate players that think it's about them when it's about the team. Cannot play with them.
Well, you
Cannot
couldn't
play with
win
them.
anyway.
Cannot coach
You
with them.
was a terrible coach.
I want winners. I want people that want to win.
You
This
must don't
moment,
love yourself
along with
then.
other
'Cause
conversations-
God damn. You want people that want hey, the higher ups want people that want to win as well, okay? And it's not you, buddy. You're not that guy. Not at all.
He had with his coach had a huge impact in Vernon's career.
What did Coach Singletary say to you in that conversation Monday morning?
Son, you have to change. You could do better. What you did out there, we can't have that on this team, son. I know what you can be. You can be great. You can be the best tight end in the NFL. But you gotta change. And from that moment, I started crying. And I shook his hand. I said, okay, coach, I got you.
They're from 3rd and 3.
It's good motivation.
Throws to the end zone.
Great motivation, actually.
Davis.
Terrible coaches.
His career took off in year 4, with a massive uptick in production, including finishing tied for a league-leading 13
the-
receiving touchdowns.
That was a
For the
tight
next
end
5
back in the
years,
day.
Davis played a massive role in the 49ers' offensive success, including his dominant performances in the 2011 and 2012 playoffs that helped them reach the Super Bowl. For tight ends, there's a whole lot more things that matter in your game than simply speed. However, it was clear that Vernon's speed was extremely beneficial in certain situations, like how he was able to burn DBs on deep routes from time to time. It's pretty incredible to watch a man of his size outrun DBs to the end zone. Overall, Vernon Davis began as a disappointment, but slowly developed into the tight end everyone thought he could be. He played 14 years in the NFL, became a 2-time Pro Bowler, and played in 2 Super Bowls, winning one with the Broncos.
You won one with the
Currently,
Broncos?
He's 12th all-time in career receiving yards for tight ends.
Yeah, I ain't gonna know this. I want to see this.
Offensive line prospects are the biggest and slowest of all the non-kickers and punters at the combine, which makes sense. All-out 40-yard sprinting speed plays very little role in what they do, which makes you wonder what's the point of them doing this drill anyway. And, well, who knows? Maybe teams just want to see if anyone's got that Larry Allen chase down speed. In NFL
Was that a
history,
truck
there's
on
only
the
been
football
16
field?
offensive line prospects that have gone sub 4.9, and just 2
God
have
damn,
gone sub 4.8,
Johnson.
with Teron Armstead beating out Lane Johnson by a whisker. Armstead dropped a 4.71, which, considering he's 6'5" and over 300 pounds, it's not only impressive,
Oh
it's
my god.
terrifying.
What?
Trigger warning. For anyone who's claimed to have run a 4.4 in high school via your coach's stopwatch, you're most likely not as fast as you think you were. Just know that due to hand time error, you're supposed to add 0.24 to your time, which makes you probably closer to a high 4.6 or 4.7. In other words, Armstead's laser timed 4.7 would have been around your typical hand timed 4.4.
So how do you, what is it about
I'm
your
a dog.
Yeah, you are.
Anyways, Armstead's speed probably didn't play a huge role in him getting drafted, but he did become the earliest player ever to be selected
Who?
from Arkansas Pine Bluff.
I ain't
going
never
in the
heard that
round
school
of the
before.
2013 NFL Draft to play tackle for the Saints. For the most part, Armstead has exceeded expectations. He became the team's long-term solution at left tackle.
Oh,
And he's now in
I didn't know he
Miami,
got
where he's
traded to
still playing
Miami.
at a high level. He's made 5 Pro Bowls in his career. And while he hasn't done anything crazy like a Larry Allen chase down tackle, he did credit his speed to helping him become a great pro.
So I had to use my strengths, my speed, athleticism, and my hands. I got some really strong hands. So being able to just jump out on guys, jump sets, and all those things. Watching Jason Peters do it for so long, and just really mimicking him and taking his style of play. And I feel like it worked well for me.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Interior
Donald.
D lineman.
I mean, it's not even fair.
Defensive tackle is the next slowest position in the NFL, non-kickers or punters, with just 9 prospects running a sub 4.8
Oh.
and just 3 players running sub 4.7. But at the top, this guy
Adetomiwa Adebawore.
is the fastest defensive tackle prospect
4.49
by a mile. Usually, the most disparity between the first and second fastest player at each position is a few hundredths of a second. But this guy has almost 0.2 of a second on the next closest prospect. Well, to be fair, this disparity is due to the fact that he is noticeably smaller than the average D tackle. In fact, the 3 fastest 40s ran by D tackles were all done by guys under 290 pounds. And this dude lined up at an edge from
I
time
can
to
see
time
why.
in college. So there is sort of an asterisk by his name. Still, with that said, running a 4.4 at 280
It is.
pounds is
I don't care what-
otherworldly.
oh my
In
God.
fact, it's the fastest ever by a player over 280 at the combine.
That is
This in part
scary.
what made him such an intriguing prospect. Or as Sports Nation put it, the most unique D-line prospect
And he
in
went
the
to Northwestern,
2023
okay.
NFL draft. As a player, he was seen as a mid-round prospect and didn't necessarily project any higher after his epic 40 time. After getting selected in the 4th round, he has been a backup for the Colts for 2 years. and
As
hasn't
terrible
made
as the
much
Colts
impact on
defense
the team.
is, they might need to make
He
him
gets
the
in from time
starter.
to time and averages a tackle once every 2 to 3 games. Also, I will just say this, Aaron Donald has one of the fastest times ever by a
It's not
defensive
even
tackle,
fair.
and he's probably the greatest defensive tackle of all time. Defensive end or edge. The defensive end or edge defender
Look how Miles
has
get- it
developed
does-
into one of the freakiest positions
It's-
in the
it's like you
NFL
built him in
terms
a
of
lab.
physical capabilities. Since 2008, 11 defensive end prospects have registered a sub 4.5 40, and 2 players have dropped a 4.3. According to NFL.com, the fastest defensive end in NFL Combine history is Amari
Who?
Barno, who listed at
Barno.
6'6" and 245 pounds, dropped a nasty
What
4.3
the
pick in
fuck,
2022. Amari Barno was considered a physical specimen at Virginia Tech, but wasn't highly sought after as a prospect. Quote, Barno's long legs make him a long and clunky strider, making it difficult for him to get low and bend around the edge. So, while Barno's speed was ridiculous, many scouts were concerned about the lack of more critical traits needed to play the position in the pros. Barno ended up getting selected in the 6th round by the Panthers, and in 3 seasons, he's been a backup that shifted to outside linebacker in a 3-4 scheme. Linebackers. Like defensive end, linebackers have evolved from big hulking
big-ass
run
shoulder
stoppers back in the
pads.
day
God damn it.
to smaller, speedier players who can run sideline to sideline to cover the pass.
Hold on
This
real
has
quick, guys.
resulted in the explosion of sub 4.5 to sideline to cover the pass. This has resulted
Missed it. Alright, what do you guys think about these helmets? When I first saw them, I ain't gonna lie to you, they caught me off guard a lot. It looked like you, I don't know, like you got a baby on your head. But looking more into it and things of that nature, it's a lot more safe and you know, there's other things to it, but I don't know. It's still an interesting look, and I think it's because you only see on a couple players. See, if it was like more broadly like used, then it wouldn't be like stick out like a sore thumb. But I've gotten used to it this year, especially. But I want to know your opinion on that.
speedier players who can run sideline to sideline to cover the pass. This has resulted in the explosion of sub 4.5
My boy Devin White, 4.42.
prospects who dropped 4 threes, with the fastest being Shaquem Griffin.
Oh,
Interestingly,
damn.
Griffin's record for fastest 40 ever
Him and
by a
his brother,
linebacker
their
at the
stories.
combine
I mean, their
wasn't what
story
people
is
talked about
incredible,
when
by
it
the
was
way.
brought up. It was the fact that he only had one hand, a much more rare phenomenon. Griffin was a dominant college player despite only having one hand. Also, he has a twin brother who was also a beast at UCF and was drafted into the NFL. I found Shaquem so interesting that I made a video about him years back.
Did I watch that?
Focusing on his speed, Griffin's 4.38 was the exact same time as his
Wow.
brother. the difference being that Shaquem was 30 pounds heavier, but compared to the average linebacker, Shaquem was undersized. He ended up getting selected in the 5th round by the Seahawks, who had drafted his brother the year before.
That's gotta be an incredible film for the parents.
Shaquem ultimately spent 3 years as a backup linebacker and special teamer. Cornerbacks. In terms of speed at the top of the spectrum, cornerbacks are the 2nd fastest position in the NFL, just barely trailing.
You know how hard it is to run backwards?
And from an athleticism perspective, it's the toughest position to play in the NFL. Prior to the 2025 Combine, 6 prospects have dropped a 4.2, all of which have happened since 2017. The fastest one is a 4.23 clocked in 2022 by Kalon Barnes. Now, as a prospect, Barnes was not highly sought after. There were questions.
I seen him before. I've definitely seen him before. When they showed the number, I definitely seen him before. I remember him.
He managed to get selected by the Panthers in the 7th round of the 2022 NFL Draft, but he was cut before the regular season. Barnes bounced around practice squads and was elevated to the Vikings game day roster for 2 games in 2022. And since then, he's been a practice squad player. As of December 2024.
Ooh, okay. Hey, I cannot wait for the reactions to start with that.
Starters in the NFL.
Alright, I gotta look out for him.
Safeties. Safeties tend to be the defensive backs who weren't fast enough to play corner, but there is still some dudes who are insanely fast. 12 prospects have dropped a sub 4.4 at the Combine, and just 1 prospect snuck his way into dropping a sub 4.3, Zedrick Woods. But that was the peak of his pro journey.
I've heard that name before.
And never made a final roster. The 2 players tied for 2nd, Nick Cross and Troy Apke, have had much more success in the NFL. I find it hilarious how Troy Apke is the opposite of every white guy stereotype. Not only is he the only white skill position player even close to the fastest at his position, but also his Combine performance scored him a 99 athleticism grade back in 2018.
Him and Matt McClung has beaten every white guy stereotype there has been as far as being an athlete. Him and Matt McClung, man, I'm telling you. They're different breeds. They're different breeds. They make us look slow.
Safety in the class. However, his production score in college was below average, which heavily impacted him as a prospect and had him projected as a practice squad player. He did prove that projection wrong though, and not only did he end up starting in the NFL, he actually moved to corner in 2021, becoming the first white cornerback to play at the
It's been 13 years. I mean, I can't forget about Dean. Come on, man. Dijon. Can't forget about my boy.
Oh, yeah, I know why I'm surprised. I can't say it on TV, but he can run.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Okay. Ooh. Man, oh, man. Man, oh, man. Love to see it. Okay, man. I'm so glad I clicked on this video right here. I really enjoyed this. Seeing the fastest from every position. I ain't gonna lie, the ones that shocked me the most, the one that shocked me the most, let me make that clear, was definitely the offensive lineman. To be that damn big and be that fast, those are what nightmares are made of. Just saying. Just imagine that. Just imagine you look back and you just see that big of a man just running after you. And you done pissed him off because you slapped him in his back of his head. Something. You did something, okay? And he's just hauling ass chasing you. One trip and it's over. You might as well let the bear get you. You might as well run to a bear and say, come on. Hurry up. Can you hurry up and maul me, please? Because he's right there. You might want to run too after you maul me. Just in case, you know. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy this reaction. Once again, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the newer helmets that some NFL players have been wearing. See you guys in the next one.